Welcome to Integrative Nutrition for Life video presentation.
I want to ask you to pause for a moment and really absorb one of the most important medical truths ever stated. All disease begins in the gut. I'm repeating this phrase in this video because it is not just a historical quote or a poetic idea, it is a foundational principle of human health. When Hippocrates was talking about gut health over 2,000 years ago, he wasn't being metaphorical. He was pointing to the central role the digestive system plays in inflammation, immunity, nutrient absorption, metabolic stability, and long-term disease risk. Modern research continues to confirm that when the gut becomes irritated, overloaded, inflamed, or imbalanced, the rest of the body eventually suffers. So as you watch this video, I want you to keep that statement in mind, because it is the lens through which everything else makes sense. Before we go any further today, I want to talk to you directly, just me to you, about something living inside you right now, quietly shaping your health in ways you probably never imagined. I'm talking about your microbiome. Not a buzzword, not a trend, a real, dynamic ecosystem made of trillions of organisms, bacteria, fungi, archaea, viruses, even bacteriophages. The gastrointestinal microbiota contains hundreds of bacterial species, with microbial cell numbers estimated at roughly 10 to 33, 10 to 14 power, approaching the scale of human somatic cells. They occupy nearly every corner of your body, your gut, mouth, skin, lungs, and urogenital tract, like a microscopic rainforest woven into your anatomy. Anatomically, microbial density varies dramatically by tissue and physiological environment. The colon represents one of the most densely populated microbial habitats, containing approximately 10 to 11, 10 to 12 2-power microorganisms per gram of intestinal content, forming layered communities across the mucus, the epithelium, and the intestinal lumen. And these microorganisms aren't just passengers. Biologically, these microorganisms participate in nutrient metabolism, xenobiotic transformation, epithelial barrier maintenance, immune maturation, and colonization resistance. Microbial metabolites, including short-chain fatty acids SCFAs such as acetate, propionate, and butyrate, function as signaling molecules and influence host cellular metabolism, inflammation, and immune regulation. Chemically, microbial metabolism generates an enormous repertoire of molecules, including bile acid derivatives, inols, polyamines, neurotransmitter-related compounds, and vitamins. Microorganisms also continuously exchange genetic material through horizontal gene transfer, contributing to metabolic adaptation and antimicrobial resistance mechanisms. When you step back and look at it all, the microbiome isn't just a bunch of microbes. It behaves like a hidden organ, a second brain, an operating system running quietly in the background. So when I say microbiome, I want you to picture that rainforest inside you, alive, reactive, and deeply connected to your physiology. And whether that ecosystem is thriving or struggling can shape your health more than almost anything you do in your daily life. Let me take you back in time for a moment, because the story of the microbiome is honestly wild. Imagine the year 1683. Antonie van Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch fabric merchant with no formal scientific training, builds a tiny handcrafted microscope. He scrapes plaque off his own teeth, looks at it, and suddenly sees a universe of tiny creatures swimming around. He calls them animalcules. That moment was the birth of microbiology. But here's the dramatic twist. For the next 300 years, nobody understood what those creatures actually did. We knew microorganisms caused disease. Sure, Pasteur, Koch, all the big names. But the idea that microorganisms could protect us, heal us, or even control parts of our biology, completely unthinkable. It wasn't until the early 2000s, with the Human Microbiome Project, that everything changed. Suddenly, we could sequence microbial DNA, map entire ecosystems, and see how these organisms communicate with our cells. And the shock was enormous. We discovered that humans are not just human, we are hybrid organisms, part human, part microbial. And honestly, when you look at this timeline, you realize something humbling. We are only just beginning to understand the microbiome. We're living at the very start of a scientific revolution. Alright, let me get a bit more scientific, but I'll keep it conversational, because this stuff is too fascinating to hide behind jargon. The microbiome is not just a bunch of bacteria floating around, it's a biochemical supercomputer. These microorganisms communicate using chemical signals, electrical impulses, and even gene-modifying molecules. They produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which literally tell your immune system to calm down. They manufacture neurotransmitter precursors, things like serotonin and dopamine, meaning your gut microorganisms help shape your emotional landscape. They regulate cytokine cascades, influence mitochondrial efficiency, and modulate the permeability of your intestinal barrier. And here's a dramatic fact most people never hear. Your microbiome contains 150 times more genes than the human genome. That means your microbial partners have far more biological skills than your own cells. Anatomically, the microbiome interfaces with epithelial layers, lymphoid tissues, mucosal surfaces, and neural pathways. Chemically, it behaves like a distributed metabolic engine. Biologically, it follows ecological rules, competition, cooperation, niche specialization. So when I talk about the microbiome, I'm talking about a living, adaptive, biochemical network that is constantly shaping your physiology. It's not simple. It's not passive. It's not optional. It's essential. Let me show you how deeply the microbiome is woven into your anatomy. When you look at the human body, you see organs, stomach, liver, lungs, skin. But what you don't see is the microbial layer that coats and interacts with almost every surface. Your gut microbiome communicates with your brain through the vagus nerve. Your skin microbiome regulates inflammation and barrier function. Your oral microbiome influences nitric oxide production, which affects blood pressure. Even your lungs have their own microbial signature. Here's a dramatic detail. Your gut microbiome weighs about the same as your brain. That's how massive it is. And another one, your immune system is basically trained by your microbiome. Without microbial exposure, your immune system becomes confused, overreactive, and prone to autoimmune disorders. These microorganisms don't just sit there. They send chemical messages, regulate gene expression, and help maintain homeostasis. They influence how your body absorbs nutrients, how your metabolism functions, and how your hormones behave. So when I talk about the microbiome, I'm talking about a distributed anatomical partner, a living interface that touches nearly every part of your physiology. It's not separate from you. It's part of you. Let's talk numbers, because the microbiome is staggering. You have around 38 trillion microbial cells, which actually outnumber your human cells. Your gut contains the densest microbial ecosystem on Earth. Your skin hosts thousands of species depending on moisture and temperature. Your mouth contains biofilms with hundreds of species. Even your lungs and urinary tract, once thought sterile, have their own microbial communities. And the research coming out right now is honestly shocking. Papers in Nature, Cell, and Science show connections between microbiome composition and obesity, diabetes, depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autoimmune disorders, cancer treatment outcomes, and even how well you respond to vaccines. Here's a dramatic fact. Your microbiome can predict disease years before symptoms appear. Another one, microbial metabolites can influence epigenetic expression, meaning your microorganisms can turn your genes on or off. Clinical trials are exploring targeted probiotics, fecal microbiota transplants, postbiotics, dietary interventions, and even microbial cocktails designed to reshape health outcomes. We're living in the golden age of microbiome research. Every month, new discoveries rewrite what we thought we knew about human biology. Now, if you want to strengthen your microbiome, start with food, real food. Fiber-rich vegetables, legumes, fermented foods, polyphenol-rich fruits. These feed beneficial microorganisms and help them multiply. Think of it like watering a garden. Next, reduce the things that damage microbial diversity, ultra-processed foods, chronic stress, excessive alcohol, unnecessary antibiotics, sleep deprivation. These things don't just harm you, they starve your microorganisms. Here's a dramatic truth. Your microbiome can change in 24 hours based on what you eat. And another one, a diverse microbiome is one of the strongest predictors of long-term health. So this is your call to action. Nourish your microbiome. Support it. Protect it. Treat it like the living ecosystem that it is. Because when your microbiome thrives, your entire body becomes stronger, calmer, more resilient, and more capable of healing. So, in order for you to know if what you're doing is working for you, I can order any lab test from one of the best diagnostics labs in the country. The test that will give you crucial insights into your health status and walk you through the report so you fully understand your results. Anyone who's watching this video should take charge of your own health. So feel free to email me and I will guide you step by step through the entire testing and interpretation process. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an update. We're dropping fresh videos often to keep the momentum going. Share your health goals in the comments and let us know what topics you want next. Let's build unstoppable energy and vitality together. Your journey starts now.
Do you have questions, comments, or want expert health tips? Visit the website integrativenutritionforlife.com and reach out via email today. Connect with a very smart, knowledgeable, triple certified health coach ready to help you improve your health and well-being.